Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Alex Klimas. Happy joining you guys for another edition of NBA Player Prop Parlay right here on the Guy Boston Sports YouTube channel. Happy Friday, everybody. TGI Friday. We've got a new day, which of course means a new NBA Player Prop Parlay to share with you guys. We got our Freaky Friday 5-leg parlay to share with you guys today that I am really excited about. Couple things real quick, though, before we dive into today's parlay. Actually, three things. I'm going to try to go through this as fast as possible. First and foremost, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment down below. All that good stuff. All the interaction helps the channel growth. We are on the road, I should say, to hitting 100,000 subscribers. And when you hit the subscribe button down below, you help us get there a little bit sooner. Second thing, quick little recap of last night. We had a 3-leg parlay last night. 2 out of 3 legs hit. The one leg that didn't hit, we had Bam Adebayo over 17.5 points. He finished with 14 and had his worst shooting night of the season. That's just our luck. He went 5 for 14 from the floor. So the volume was there. The data was there. Everything, we were on the money for the most part. He had 14 points even though he missed 9 shots. And, he just really had a bad shooting night. Just could not get the ball in the hoop. So it's unfortunate we lost. But, again, we're back today with a new parlay. Third thing, kind of an important thing. I'm going to try to go through this as fast as possible. If you saw the channel yesterday, Ev posted a video where he basically did like a NBA player prop where he just kind of went through, selected some player props. It wasn't a parlay, it was just player props. And it kind of sparked something in me, an idea. And it's something that, it's not like it's a new thing. It's not like it's just because of Ev's video I thought of it. I've had this idea in my mind for a little while now, where we changed the format of this show from a daily parlay show to just a daily player prop show, where it would essentially be the same show, except instead of trying to pick these props for a parlay, we're just picking the props, and I just give you props, and then you guys decide what to do with them. You want to put them in a parlay, you want to bet them straight up, whatever the case may be. I want to throw that idea out to you guys. What do you guys think? The people who watch this show, who like this show, maybe you don't like this show. What do you guys think about that? Do you love the parlay format and want to stick with it? Or would you rather me change it to just be like a daily NBA player prop show? I think some of the positives of that, obviously, I wouldn't do as many high alternate lines because obviously a lot of the props would be trying to bet straight up or throw in a parlay. So the odds would be a little bit lower. It'd probably be a little bit more inclusive in terms of the sports books, right? On the parlays, I mainly do DraftKings exclusives. If I did a daily player prop show, it would probably just be, it wouldn't just be DraftKings exclusive. It would be props that were more accessible to multiple sports books. Just an idea. Thought I would throw it out to you guys again. The format would essentially be the same. I'd go an outlier. I'd show you guys the picks. But the difference would be, instead of it, betting it to be in a parlay, I would just be giving you the props, because the props are solid. I hit at a 74.5% hit rate. So the props, I'm pretty good at picking them out. And then basically we would do like 4 or 5 props a day. I just give you my props, and then it's up to you guys. You can either bet them straight up, throw in a parlay, whatever the case may be. Just throwing that idea out to you guys. And then maybe for those who maybe really love the parlays, I could still do like a smaller parlay video, whether it be a YouTube short or just a YouTube video, just instead of it being like 10 minutes long, maybe do it like a 5-minute, 6-minute video. Just throwing some ideas out. Obviously, this is the first year of me doing the show here on the channel, so I'm always open to ideas and changes. Ev kind of presented the idea to me also. So we talked about it. I said I would throw it to you guys. Comment down below what you guys think of that idea of changing the format of the show from a daily parlay show to just a daily player prop show. Again, I can still do parlays. Like if we really like the 5-leg Freaky Friday parlays, I could still do those. Or if you guys just really like this format, we could just stick with the parlay format. I like the format as it is. But again, just throwing ideas out. So that's enough of that. We got a long video as it is, 5-leg parlay for today. Let's jump right in. All right, guys, first leg of our 5-leg parlay, we are targeting the Pelicans-Sixers game, which kicks off at 7 p.m. Eastern time. We're going with Zion Williamson of the New Orleans Pelicans over 24.5 points plus assists. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and kick this over to the Outlier screen now. If you guys don't know what Outlier is, they're the best sports betting tool on the market today. It really is a special tool. So much information, so much insight. You guys want more information on it? I have videos that I've done, kind of behind-the-scenes look. Ev, like I said yesterday, did a behind-the-scenes look video. So check it out for yourself. Link in the description below. 7-day free trial. You will not regret trying Outlier out. I promise you guys. All right, so we go. First leg of our 5-leg parlay. Zion Williamson over 24.5 points plus assists. This is a DraftKings line, -190. It is available on Caesars for -245. The data is pretty strong here. 8 of his last 10 games, he has cashed this over. It's an 80% hit rate. You stretch that down to his last 20 games, still 80% hit rate. 16 of his last 20 games, he has cashed this over. And on the 2023 season as a whole, really solid. 71% hit rate, 36 out of 51 games this year. He has cashed this over. You go ahead and look at the head-to-head data. Each of the last 3 times he's faced off with the Philadelphia 76ers, he has cashed this over, including the one time they played this year. Back on November 29th, he had 33 points and 6 assists. Now, you look at the right side of the screen here. You look at the defensive stats for Philly. They're actually not too bad against the power forward position, but the Sixers are really short-handed tonight. No Tyrese Maxey, no Joel Embiid, no Robert Covington. They have a slew of injuries. So with all those guys being out, it does make me question how well Philly will be able to play here. The Pelicans are an 8.5-point favorite for tonight, so Vegas is expecting New Orleans to win pretty steadily. Obviously, that screams blowout potential here, but here's the reason why I'm not too worried about the blowout potential. You look at the last 10 games. See, they just played Toronto the other night in that game where the Pelicans beat them by like 43 points, something like that, like 42. And he still cashed this, 16 points and 9 assists, and he only played 26 minutes. Zion doesn't play a ton of minutes to begin with, and he really doesn't need to play that many to cash this line. Like, you look at his last 20 games, he averages 31 minutes a game, which is a decent amount, but it's not like he needs to play 36 minutes to cash anything. If he plays like 28, 30 minutes around that ballpark, he should be able to cash his line. Tobias Harris, I just don't think defensively can keep up with Zion. So that's the first leg of our 5-leg parlay. All right, guys, second leg of our 5-leg parlay. We're targeting the Magic's next game, which kicks off at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going with Franz Wagner of the Orlando Magic over 8.5 rebounds plus assists. Wagner has cashed this in 6 of his last 10 games. You see a couple close misses there, so he's always in the ballpark of this line, which is pretty good for us. You stretch that down to his last 20 games, still really solid, 65% hit rate, 13 of his last 20 games. And trust me, if I can get an alternate line down to like 7.5 or 6.5, I definitely would. There are no alternate lines available for this because you see all those 8s. He's really close. A 7.5, I'd feel even more comfortable with it, but I'm still pretty comfortable with the 8.5 line. Again, still 65% hit rate over the last 20 games. And in the 2023 season as a whole, a 64% hit rate, 35 out of 55 games this season, he has cashed this over. And you look here at the head-to-head data, 4 of the last 5 times he's faced off with the New York Knicks, he has cashed this over, including the 2 times he's played them this year. On December 29th, he had 9 rebounds and 2 assists. And on February 14th, he had 3 rebounds and 6 assists. The only time in the last 5 meetings he failed to hit this was on February 7th of 2023. He only had 2 rebounds and 4 assists. You look at the right side of the screen, the defensive metrics here. The Knicks, not crazy, but they are bottom half of the league in both rebounds allowed and assists allowed to opposing small forwards. So a pretty good spot here for Wagner for the second leg of our 5-leg parlay. All right, guys, third leg of our 5-leg parlay. We're targeting the Timberwolves-Cavs game, which kicks off at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going with Rudy Gobert of the Minnesota Timberwolves under 16.5 points. This is a DraftKings exclusive at this line, under 16.5, minus 165. You scroll down here below, still pretty solid data. 7 of his last 10 games, he has cashed this over. You stretch that data to his last 20. 12 of his last 20 games is a 60% hit rate. And on the 2023 season as a whole, a 70% hit rate, 43 out of 61 games this year, he has cashed this under for Minnesota. Now, he has not faced off with the Cavs yet this year, but in each of the previous 2 meetings with Cleveland, he cashed this under. He had 6 points the last time they played on January 14th, 2023, and 15 points on November 13th, 2022. You look at the right side of the screen here, defensively, the Cavs, top 5 team in the NBA versus centers and points allowed, and it makes a lot of sense. Jarrett Allen, who is playing tonight, the Cavs have a lot of injuries, actually, in this game. No Donovan Mitchell, no Evan Mobley, no Max Strus. A lot of guys are out for Cleveland, which I think, bodes well for Minnesota's chances to win the game. But in terms of where we lie with this prop here, I still feel pretty comfortable because Jarrett Allen is going to play. He's the 3rd highest rated center in the NBA in terms of defensive rating. Only Gobert himself and Towns are ranked higher in terms of defensive ratings among centers. So the 3rd best defensive center in the NBA in terms of defensive rating, matched up with Gobert, who is not really a great offensive player to begin with. I really do like the spot. In their last 14 games, the Cleveland Cavaliers have cashed this under in 10 of their last 14 versus opposing contenders, meaning that only 4 times since February 1st, a center has cashed this over 16.5 point line versus Cleveland. So they've been covering this under spot pretty consistently. It's a pretty small total for this game. I believe it's the 2nd smallest total, or even I think it's 2nd or the last. It was definitely bottom 2 lowest total. I think it was like 207.5 last time I checked. Vegas is not expecting a lot of points here, and if there are going to be points coming from Minnesota, I really doubt it's going to be coming from Gobert here. All right, guys, cruising right along here. 4th leg of our 5-leg parlay. Comment 10 down below if you made it this far into the video. We are about to hit the 10-minute mark in the video. 4th leg, we're targeting the Hawks-Grizzlies game, which kicks off at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going with DeJounte Murray of the Atlanta Hawks over 19.5 points. Overall data is pretty good. 6 of his last 10 games, he has cashed this over. You stretch that data out to his last 20, still really solid. 15 of his last 20 games. It's a 75% hit rate for DeJounte Murray. You look at the 2023 season as a whole, 66% hit rate. 39 out of 59 games he has cashed this over. And look at the head-to-head matchup. The last time these teams played this year on December 23rd, DeJounte Murray had 26 points versus the Grizzlies. You look at the right side of the screen here, the Memphis Grizzlies, are a bottom 10 defensive team against the point guards, giving up just shy of 25 points per game to opposing point guards. There's another reason why I really like this spot, though. Trae Young is out. Jalen Johnson is out. So Atlanta missing a couple of key scorers on their team. So DeJounte Murray will have to step up, will have to take on a lot of the scoring load. 19.5, you honestly could go a little bit higher here. And you could go up to 21.5. I think that'd be okay. Again, we're playing it safe. We got 5 legs here. We're not trying to take too many risks. So we're going to go with the 19.5 line at minus 250. There's actually 255 on DraftKings. It's available on FanDuel, on Caesars. Again, if you want to take the risk, go to 21.5. You can. It's at minus 170. It's a DraftKings exclusive at 21.5. But I'm going with the 19.5 point line here. Now, there isn't a ton of data for when DeJounte Murray plays without Jalen Johnson and Trae Young when they're both out, but it has happened one time before this year. On January 30th against the Trailblazers, he had 40 points when Jalen Johnson and Trae Young did not play. That is a very small sample size, so what I'll show you here instead is DeJounte Murray's numbers when just Trae Young alone. We're not even counting Jalen Johnson, just when Trae Young is out. 82% hit rate, 9 out of 11 games this year. When Murray has played without Trae Young, he has cashed the over. And you see the 2 times he failed, he finished just shy 18 points, 17 points, 18 points. Cleveland's a pretty good defensive team. But you see here, an 82% hit rate when Trae Young is out. So I really love this spot. I know it's a high alternate at minus 255. We have it on DraftKings, but it's a really good spot for the 4th leg of our parlay. All right, guys, 5th and final leg of today's parlay. We are targeting the Heat-Thunder game, which kicks off at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going with Chet Holmgren of the Oklahoma City Thunder over 17.5 points plus assists. Chet has cashed this line in 6 of his last 10 games, and you see a couple very close misses there, but 6 of his last 10 games, 60% hit rate. You stretch that down to his last 20, still 60% hit rate, 12 of his last 20 games. And if you look at the 2023 season as a whole, again, solid hit rate, 65% hit rate, 40 out of 62 games this year, he has cashed this over. And look, this little trend I noticed may not mean anything, but only 3 times this year has Chet cashed the over, and the next game failed to cash it again. He consistently goes on at least 2 games in a row, 3 games in a row. He goes on stretches only 3 times right here. November 14th, then the next game he didn't cash it. November 18th, the next game he didn't cash it. And over here on January 18th, the next game, he didn't cash it. For the most part, he cashes, and he cashes at least 2 or 3 times in a row. Again, that may not mean anything. That's just the data. I'm showing you guys a pattern that I noticed in the data. Look at the head-to-head rate. He's only played Miami once this year on January 10th. He covered this in points alone. He had 23 points and 2 assists the last time they played. Defensively, Miami, they're actually pretty good down low. You see here, versus power forwards, they're a little bit weaker, but Chet mainly plays center for them. And you see here, they're actually one of the best defensive teams in the NBA against the center position. But the last time they played, he played very well. Again, 23 points and 2 assists. The Miami Heat are playing on the second night of a back-to-back. They lost a tough game to Dallas last night. That was a game that we had Bam Adebayo on that over for the parlay yesterday. So Miami's second night of a back-to-back, again, on the road. They're going from Dallas to OKC. I think Chet will get him in a pretzel here. Oh, and just in case you guys weren't convinced, this is the numbers at home this year. An 80% hit rate for Chet in OKC this year. 24 out of 30 games this season, he has cashed this over when playing at home. And if you just stretch down to his last 20 games, 85% hit rate, 17 of his last 20 home games, he has cashed the over. So when they're playing OKC, Chet Holmgren is a covering machine on this line. I love this prop. I know it's minus 140. Honestly, not a bad spot to bet outright. I know minus 140 is a little bit high, but a really good spot here for the 5th and final leg of today's parlay. All right, guys, here we go. Quick recap of the 5-leg parlay for tonight's slate. We've got Chet Holmgren over 17.5 points plus assists. Franz Wagner over 8.5 rebounds plus assists. Rudy Gobert under 16.5 points. DeJounte Murray over 19.5 points. Zion Williamson over 24.5 points plus assists. You parlay all 5 of those legs together for our Freaky Friday 5-leg parlay, and you get a parlay of plus 994 odds. Not too bad. Really good value. And I know these are big parlays, but we have hit these in the past. We've hit some pretty big parlays on the show this year. Our Freaky Friday, we've hit it like 2 or 3 times this year, our Freaky Friday 5-leg parlays. So never say never. Plus 994. It'd be a really nice hit. I really like all the legs here. I think it's all pretty solid data, solid matchups. Again, anything can happen when you're handling with sports betting, but really good legs, I think. Guys, that is it for me today. I will be back tomorrow with another NBA Player Prop Parlay. Again, think about what I said. Comment down below what you guys think about my idea of a format change. I could even do 2 videos a morning, right? And do one video where I'm just giving out player props, and maybe a second video where I'm doing a parlay where I wouldn't necessarily give out the same legs. Maybe I'll put maybe keep 1 or 2 legs from my daily props in the parlay. Just an idea. Again, I do think that the idea of a daily prop show and not necessarily a parlay show is interesting, but I'll throw that out to you guys to see what you guys think. We will have college basketball videos starting next week here on the channel. I am very excited about that, to bring college basketball videos here on the channel. A lot of great content will be coming out. Evan and I are going to start doing videos weekly together, so a lot of great stuff coming. So make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on a single video. Guys, that is it for me today. Until tomorrow, I hope we're all winners. Let's cash this motherfucking parlay. Let's go.